The heavy hitters of the Heartland have come face-to-face with the monsters of Maryland. Corey Snyder and Preston Perez have owned the competition so far in Princeton, but the summer heat may yet take its toll on this next-generation duo. For the second straight event, welcome to the Heartland of America here, Princeton, Illinois, the Bureau County Fairgrounds, ready for the second week of action on the Overdrive Monster Truck Tour. You'll remember we started this tour out with some highlighted action in Dublin, Virginia, and that was kind of a small area they had to work with, but we did see some great runs there from the likes of the Seasock brothers and their big Chevrolets, Cliff Fowl in the Virginia Giant, Brandon Darrow out of Elkton, Virginia in Bad News Travels Fast, and of course, the great CJ Menti in Storm Damage. This weekend, totally different field of trucks. If you didn't see our last run of action here in Princeton, Illinois, you got to go back and check that out, and I'd recommend watching that before you watch this one, because that was an awesome event. It'll really set you up for what you're in for tonight under the stars. Well, I don't know if we'll get quite there, but under sunset conditions here at the Bureau County Fairgrounds. 5 trucks getting ready to go into action, and we open it up with the Overdrive Monster Truck Tour with the Stunt Showdown. These guys will do this, compete for points here. They'll also compete in racing. There will be a qualifying round there. Only the top 4 make it into the bracket, and freestyle to wrap up the evening. Right now as Josh Baumgartner comes out in mechanical mischief with that 540 cubic inch big block Mike horsepower behind him. Machine built and originally owned by Jim Burns from right here in Illinois. Minnesota's own right there, high centers it. He did the same thing this afternoon. You can see they put a fresh car on that other side. They did not need to do it on the lane nearest our cameras because that car never really went away. Baumgartner looking good there in mechanical mischief. The Chevrolet out of Minnesota. Let's see, will he count that as his 2 moves or will he come back for more? He made 3 hits in his initial Stunt Showdown run here in the skills portion. Made that look effortless. I'm not sure what parts of that run they're going to count, but that was an awesome opening statement from Josh Baumgartner. You see it get straight up and down, but there was just so much to that. Looks like maybe a Chrysler buried over there. He tore it all up, but worked out for him. I believe those were his 2 hits on that far side that they counted, and he lays down an early score of a 16 now as Brad Shippert rolls out of Dixon, Illinois, the home state hero, and against the grain. This truck was smoking something fierce at show 1, and it looks like they may have worked out some problems. Big hit up and over the race lane in the Ford from right down the road in Dixon, carrying the colors for RC Fest. One of 3 in the Blue Oval Bunch here this weekend, battling the Bowtie Brigade. Another nice job there, 2 strong sky wheelies out of the Ford from Illinois. A little extra right there. They may be giving them 3 hits on this one. They're all going after it right now as everybody wants to see if they can knock out those 2 Fords from Maryland who took it all here this afternoon. And Shippert with a 17 to take the number 1 spot away from Josh Baumgartner. So for the Illini. In the Illini Ford taking away the lead from the Minnesota Chevrolet. Walking it up and over the race lane, Rod Schmidt, former Gravedigger driver, now in his own machine for the first time in a long time. A couple years back, got himself a team going. Purchased two really heavily used Patrick chassis, and he's made the most of them. They're in good condition now. If you walk up and look at them, they definitely don't look like the last time that they were seen out in Catlett, Virginia. Going after a score of 17, Rod Schmidt out of Iowa in Redneck Rampage. Gets it on the nose, found that balance point. Starting to get the hang of that maneuver. Again, the old guard trying the new tricks, working out for him pretty well here. We'll see what the score ends up being. I love the walking wheelie up and over the crush cars. Little old school, little new school. And then he tried this earlier this afternoon and he wheelied into the ramp and he couldn't get it onto the front wheels. It was still kind of an interesting maneuver, but he does take over the lead. As you see right there, Rod Schmidt with a 21 in the Stunt Showdown competition. Now, the man out of Maryland by way of Spokane, Washington, Preston Perez in the beaten and battered Toxic. The Patrick chassis machine with a 540 cubic inch Kevin Stauffer Chevy engine in the back. I think he's going to start this thing off the same way he started off show one with some massive hang time. Indeed, he does. That Dan Patrick shot package soaking up everything he throws at that truck. Preston Perez now headed down to the other end of the track, and I have a feeling we will now see what he did for his second move. He knows what works out here in front of the crowd in Illinois. Stepped it up with the hang time. Let's see what he does here. Had a great stoppie into a moonwalk in show one. What does he have for the crowd here in show two? Tough to do the stop. He's on the narrow rails. He's in trouble now. Up and over backwards goes Preston Perez in Toxic. And the safety crew immediately down there to his aid, and he should be all right. Not a real hard rollover, but you can see the team looking on. I don't think they're going to be very happy with him right now. I said in the last show that he has a tendency to kind of get himself in trouble with overdriving sometimes. He might get an earful after that. Maybe not so much for the body, but he is putting quite a bit of stress on those rear ends. Watch him right here. Misses the stoppie. Doesn't want to let it go. Just hammered it in reverse. Too much momentum, up and over, trips the wheelie bar, and he just mangled the hood. The bed's not going to be in too bad a shape, but that hood definitely just took a beating as Perez, still inside of that thing, gets rolled back over, all the fire risk, everything, and dealt with. But one more look at it. And again, just bounced it right over onto the wheelie bar. We've seen Corey Snyder do that in the past. He did it on pavement when we saw him do that. It was back in 2019 in Lake Erie. Same truck, by the way. Now Snyder at the wheel of the metal shop chassis machine, carrying his father's former monster truck name, the Illuminator. Nice sky wheelie for the big Oldsmobile-powered Ford out of Frederick. Wanted a slap, Willie. Didn't quite get the rebound, but it was still an awesome pair of moves for Snyder as he drifts through some very dry grass out there in the field. Let's see. Chasing the 23 of Preston Perez. Had a couple of good moves in there, but I don't know if you were going to beat a moonwalk off of a failed stoppie into a crash. And indeed, he will not. Score of 20. Rod Schmidt, by the way, sits in the number 2 spot after the Stunt Showdown competition. We're just getting underway. Stay with us. More action from Princeton.
This Back Channel Productions program is brought to you in part by Monsters Monthly. Stay up to date with photos, videos, event info, and more at monstersmonthly.com. And by Crush This. For an inside look at the monster truck phenomenon, check out Crush This, a monster truck podcast.
There's only one place in the world you can find this much old school cool. Freedom Racing Monster Trucks. The home of Cyclops and Unmade and Untamed. Get yourself a limited edition toy at freedomracingmt.com.
This Back Channel Productions program is brought to you in part by RPM Army, the place to get your motorsports fix.
Work underway on the Toxic 1 machine. You see Preston Perez, Jay Snyder up underneath of there, and you can see the crumpled fiberglass, and there's a little more going on here than just cosmetic damage. They're trying to make sure that nothing else got damaged on that rollover, but the hood is actually stuck around the body mounts and around parts of the shock towers, and they want to make sure that they can get that front clip off in case they do have to service anything on the shocks or any of the electrical componentry. As you saw, the battery compartment is up there as well. It doesn't look like he damaged any of that stuff, but you just do not want that fiberglass hanging up in there right now as we go into qualifying round action to set the brackets for what will be a 4-truck field here in side-by-side drag racing. Top 4 out of qualifying make it to the bracket. Josh Baumgartner with the first pass here this evening in Princeton. See what he runs here to set the stage, a 490. So it looks like the track may be going away as we come into this evening's action. Remember, the fast time earlier this afternoon was a 4:12. The runner-up time was a 4:21. Now, he may have just been feeling it out, but you have to wonder if the racing surface may be going away. They did reset the ramps to make them a little more even because they did get beaten down during this afternoon's freestyle and parts of the racing action. Put a little more peak on these first 2 rollers, so they may be slowing these guys down off the starting line as Brad Shippert comes out for qualifying run number 2. Still not quite getting what he needs off the starting line. He does have more power than he did earlier, but 6:12, it would appear that he has even slowed down. So that first ramp may be slowing these trucks down that much. Now as Redneck Rampage rolls out of Iowa, one of 2 Chevys in the field. Rod Schmidt, legend in the sport. I've mentioned former Gravedigger driver, used to drive a truck called Temporarily Insane, as well as Deep Fear, The Witch Doctor, and more. See what he does here. Looking awesome in this qualifying session. Looks like he got the power to the ground. His fastest time this afternoon was a 4:21, a 5:06. See if the track comes around at all when we put these guys on the line side by side. Now you see they do have the front clip off of Toxic. It would appear that the truck is okay. Doesn't appear that he did any chassis damage. The dirt here is pretty soft, so I wouldn't think it would do any. It didn't do any cage damage as we took a look around up in the cab a little bit earlier between the Stunt Showdown and the qualifying session. We'll see if the truck is running at 100%. It wasn't a very hard crash, but you have to wonder if he did any damage to the any of the driveline parts when he locked it up and bounced over on the rear end. When he got on it in no man's land, it looked like it stuck. He was kind of taking it easy off the starting line there, though, making sure he still had a good truck underneath of him. But running gear looks sound. A 548, not anywhere close to what he would have liked to have run, but it does look like he was just trying to make sure the truck stayed in the field now as the Illuminator rolls out. And we'll get a chance to see this thing in all its glory here as the sun will finally set behind the tree line. And they'll light this big, bad Ford body machine up. So he takes the top off the ramp there. He was doing that earlier. Wants to get a better low shot into no man's land. He'll end up doing it on the other side. I guarantee you before the end of the session, both ramps will be knocked down quite a bit by that big blue Ford. Let's see, Snyder, your race winner from Show 1 and your overall champ from Show 1. What does he have here in qualifying for Show 2? To the middle, coming to the finish line and right up on the van stack. Didn't get on the brakes hard, let it roll out, and it looks like it worked for him. A 483. So running the truck hard, trying to stay on top of things here. He'd like to go after another overall event championship. He was third in the Stunt Showdown competition. A 483 put him in the #1 spot, though, and you can see against the grain for the second show in a row will get bumped out of the racing bracket. Mechanical Mischief, Redneck Rampage, and Toxic. But what this will do is it sets us up with a battle between Illuminator and Toxic when we come back to Princeton, Illinois for round 1 of Monster Truck Racing. Stay with us.
Hey, welcome to Wild Man Adventures. We're at the Silver Lake Sand Dragway. There really wasn't any off-roading back then. It was all off-road. We're on our way to Lima, Ohio. Got wooden wheels.
Oh, it's slippery as all get out of.
Hey, we're here with Rich Cummins. Hey, we're here with Mike Potter.
Hey, we're here with Alan Pizzo.
Gotta check it out. This week we're going to go down memory lane.
Welcome back to the Bureau County Fairgrounds in Princeton, Illinois, as we get ready for round 1 Monster Truck Racing here at Show 2 this weekend here in the heartland of America, and it's been awesome. If you didn't see Show 1, it was some of the fastest, tightest racing we have seen so far this season. Illuminator will match up with Toxic, and then we will see Redneck Rampage against Mechanical Mischief. So it will be a Ford and Chevy final round, no matter who comes out of this first round bracket. And then you see right there, Corey Snyder once again playing that little trick right there. blowing the top of that ramp up. Preston Perez in the back right now, once again, making some alterations on Toxic. You can see they have taken the bed off, and that gives you a good look at exactly how far down the engine actually sits in the rear engine Patrick configuration that you were looking at there. There's truck owner Jay Snyder getting ready to come to the finish line. He's going to slow-mo this thing on his phone because he wants to see which one of his trucks makes it to the final round. He knows he will have one there. Snyder gonna pick up the win. It was a good race, but Snyder was so smooth. He will move on to another final round of 4:10. Corey Snyder, a 4:10, 200ths quicker than the fastest run here this afternoon. So the track does appear to be coming around. Perez trying to be aggressive. They're bounced into no man's land. Couldn't get the truck back on the ground in time, and that just that little bit of extra horsepower and illuminator, I think, took over there once Snyder got the truck on the ground. He's got just that much more horsepower, like a fingernail's worth of horsepower more than the beaten and battered Toxic, his former ride in the left lane. Now as the two Chevys in the field will come out to match up. Redneck Rampage and Mechanical Mischief, one out of Iowa, the other one out of the state of Minnesota. And Mechanical Mischief, remember, creation of Jim Burns, originally from right here in Illinois. Jim is on hand this weekend, helping out and watching the action. We will see who will go to the finals against Illuminator. Wow, what a race between the Chevys. Who won that one? Talk about settling in no man's land and getting on the power. They drove all the way through the finish line there. Very smooth pair of operators, and both of those trucks are making power here as the sun goes down. The cooler may be helping them. We get another look at it. A 421 to a 419 advantage. Redneck Rampage. He comes right back to the starting line, 200ths of a second. And by the way, not far off of the time he ran in the final round at show number 1. But he needs to go faster than that because he is going after a 4:10 fast time out of the first round for Corey Snyder, who is messing with that ramp over there now. Now, keep in mind, he already did it here on the right-hand side, which is the lane that Schmidt is running out of, so it's all fair right now on the starting line. Rod Schmidt in the Chevrolet, Corey Snyder in the Oldsmobile-powered Ford. Maryland on the left, Iowa on the right. The second gen versus the legend. And again, it is too close to call with the naked eye. We are going to have to wait on the official word for that one, but that was one heck of a battle there in the championship race. Those guys going at it twice this weekend. In the finals, Snyder almost looks like he had the lead, but I don't know that it held. The winner will be Redneck Rampage by 100th at the finish line, and he still did not outrun the 410 of Corey Snyder. So Rod Schmidt going to hand off some hardware to some adoring fans. We are going to take a quick break. When the sun sets, we will be right back here to Princeton, Illinois with Monster Truck Freestyle. in Princeton, Illinois. The sun is going down. The horsepower is going up. We're ready for freestyle. Josh Baumgartner out of Minnesota will be rolling out first in Mechanical Mischief to get our freestyle competition underway. Right now battling for the top spot in the overall championship. It's a three-way battle, really. Preston Perez and Toxic, Rod Schmidt and Redneck Rampage, and Corey Snyder, your afternoon overall champ in Illuminator. Baumgartner has an outside shot at that overall championship, but it would take a catastrophe from any of those other names I mentioned for that to happen. Not worrying about the points, though. He comes out with a huge leap to open things up. Carries some great momentum down that front stretch. And again, I mentioned this before about this machine. It may look cosmetically pretty beaten, but it is tuned to perfection here this weekend. Getting bound up just a little bit over there. Right now there are trucks and crew back in there. Not right where he was, but Baumgartner not taking any chances of doing anything right where anybody's standing or sitting. As we're up here on the upper level. Nice hang time again for the Chevrolet out of Minnesota. And he will wrap it up right there, setting the stage in fine fashion. Great to see this truck still out here and running in front of its former home state folks. And Baumgartner very appreciative of everybody that still comes out and knows this truck from years back, and originally creation of Jim Burns. There's some old geometry in this truck that Baumgartner's kind of adapted for his use here that Burns built into it. And Baumgartner taking it, moving this truck to the next level. A score of 20, not a bad start at all for the Minnesota Chevrolet Mechanical Mischief. Now the home state hero comes out. Again, carrying the flag for a great event and a great cause. On the back, you see some big flames shooting out of Brad Shippert's headers there. This was something he was dealing with earlier. The motor will load up and then lean out. It's just not a consistent burn that he's getting out of that truck at all. Had to really slap that motor in there at the last minute, and they just didn't get a chance to get the right tune on it. They've been fighting it here today as he's shooting like some 12-foot flames out of that thing. And he's going to wrap it up right there, and it looks like that'll be it for Brad Shippert out of Dixon, Illinois. Not the way he wanted to go out in front of the home state folks, but still put on the proverbial fireworks show at the end of that thing. Beautiful truck and an awesome piece of equipment when he can get it running right. Still an awesome piece of equipment, formerly of Doug Nulke out of Union, Missouri. And Brad, another one, kind of taking some old equipment, taking it to the next level, and really proving that these Patrick chassis will last the eternity they were built for. A score of 15 for him, though, not going to take over the lead, but not to be disappointed. He'll be back later this season for more. Now as Redneck Rampage heads out to the track. Ripping up the sod on the top end of the facility here. dog. Getting a bit of a stoppy right there. Again, trying the new school moves. This guy is certainly not afraid to drive a truck for all it's worth and try anything that'll get him a win. Firestone's digging in. He walked it up and over that one. He's almost got into the wall. It's hard to see from the angle we're at. The wall that is directly in front of this camera angle that you're seeing is like 3-4 layers deep of blocks and gravel and then K-rails on the back. You do not want to stuff it in there. You will do some major damage again right there. We saw him do that earlier as Sean Baker and the track crew here built some excellent jumps, really packed him in. You see Baumgartner even giving some props to the man from Iowa, the guy who's going after his top score right now. Josh even thinks he did a good job. From one Chevy driver to another, he did. He had a great shot there, and I love the walking wheelies up and over the crush cars, mashing down the metal, making short work of an awesome run. And again, trying some of the new school moves. A 24 for the Chevrolet out of Iowa, and that will put him in the #1 spot as Preston Perez rolls out with what's left of Toxic. Although the chassis is completely intact, this thing does look a little rough. To give you an even better idea of where everything is bolted together and placed on these trucks that allows them to work the way they do and get away with what they do. It's very, very slick when you're on dry grass with dust on it. Look at him charging. Big air out of Toxic. Great light color combinations on these Warp Motorsports trucks out of Maryland, as Jay Snyder, the owner from the event lighting industry, knows how to match those colors and make these things really pop. And Perez there, interesting way to go over that. I don't know if he's having a problem or not. Nope. Lining up for a quick reverser up and over the van stack. Not too crazy, but something different. Got a shot at that overall, and he does not want to give it up. In danger of losing it to Rod Schmidt and or Corey Snyder. Wrapping it up with a donut. There is not a lot of room to do that out here, but a great run for the Patrick Chassis Ford cab machine out of Frederick, Maryland. Should specify the truck's actually out of Gaithersburg, Maryland. Jay and the family out of Bethesda, and of course Corey and Preston call Frederick, Maryland home as he rolls back to the trailer. A score of 29. There is 1 point at the top for the man who has been waiting for the sun to set so he can show off the assets of this awesome Ford-bodied metal shop chassis. Kevin Stauffer powered Oldsmobile engine machine right here, the Illuminator, Corey Snyder. Still trying to find that slap wheelie he got earlier this afternoon. Carried it all the way out until he really ran out of room, but laying down a shot here in the big blue Ford. Keep in mind, too, what you're looking at is great looking right here now under these sunset conditions. This truck is only partially lit up right now as Jay did not have a chance to finish the whole rig. As I was saying, brand new body on this thing as Snyder goes move to move, but his father Jay had to put a brand new body on this truck, did not have time to finish the lighting. He and Trey Myers were kind of down to the wire on this one as Preston Perez flipped this truck over earlier this year twice at the beach. Awesome run right now for Corey Snyder. Snyder looking for one more hook. Kicking up some dust to wrap the run. We will see. He's shooting for that 29. He needs a perfect score to take over. I don't know if he did it. If Perez can finish this thing with a win, he will have the overall. We will see. Great run for Snyder. 27, 2 points short, not going to do it. And Preston Perez will pick up not only a freestyle victory, but this evening's overall. So all of the hardware, the big hardware, goes home with the team from Maryland with one exception, and that is this evening's racing victory captured by the legendary Rod Schmidt and Redneck Rampage. So a great weekend of action here with the Overdrive Monster Truck Tour. We're not done with them by a long shot. We'll have action from the Buckeye State coming at you later this year, as well as more action from the Keystone State. So keep your eye out for that. The Overdrive Monster Truck Tour already looking forward to a great 2024, just kicking off their first season of action, and it has been solid so far, and it looks to be greater and greater as their story unfolds. We thank you for joining us. We will see you next time.